All right, y'all. We are here in season 2. We have finally made it. Shout out to my podcast community on Instagram, all the people that have been listening to season 1 and have been encouraging, all the way from people in South Africa to California to Texas, my New York sisses, a couple people in Florida. Thanks for holding it down, giving encouraging words, reaching out to the women, reaching out to me. This podcast is all about telling the story that you're supposed to tell, taking it, throwing it out the window, and telling your unapologetic story the way you want to tell it, in your own time and in your own words. And I'm Legina, the host of the Lorrainefinity Let's Talk podcast. Let's get started.
Warning, in this podcast, there is cursing and adult content.
Hey y'all, hello, I'm Kenisha. I'm 35 years old. My zodiac sign is Scorpio. Today, my goal is to tell my story to inspire me, to inspire you. And you're listening to Lorrainefinity Let's Talk podcast season 2.
Let's talk.
Yes. So Kenisha, I am so excited to have you on. You're my season 2 opener. I'm bringing in, you thought, last season was heavy hitters. I'm bringing in another round of them. It's not hard to find powerhouse women. It's just not hard to find. This season, we're keeping it Houston bound. And I want to talk to the women of Houston. I want to know what they're doing, what we're doing, our entrepreneurial endeavors, and everything else. And that's pretty much how I met you, through like this art vibe in Houston that is so loving. And of course on Zoom, because, COVID 2020 and our thing. So that's how I met you. You've inspired me right from the moment I've met you, because your vibe is very chill. You're very humble about the moves you make and what you're doing as a human and who you are, and just the impact you're making in people's lives. And so I appreciate your humbleness, but the power that I can see. I can see. I'm excited to be in the realm of Kenisha. That's why you are on this podcast, because I know you have a story, and I'm excited to talk to you and hear more about what you are doing and who you are as a human.
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I try to stay hardworking and busy, connected, getting that feedback directly. I definitely appreciate that.
Tell me about how you grew up and, where you're from.
So I grew up in Plainville, Louisiana.
Where is that?
That is at the top of the map. I'm not top of Louisiana, at the ankle. You think about the boot, we're at the top, at the back of the ankle. Bossier Parish, Plainville. And basically we're like 10 miles or so south of Arkansas.
Okay, I know where Arkansas is.
Yeah, okay.
So so what's the population? Let's go with that.
So people say, the last census, they said it was like under 1,000. It's way more than that. The town of Plainville and how they have it mapped is very small, but most of the population of people are on the outskirts. And, actually that's something my sister and I have been talking about recently, is the need to expand it, just because of the benefits of you have the town expanding in certain areas. But yeah, Plainville is where I'm from. I was actually born in Dallas, where my parents were living at the time, but grew up in Plainville, and that's where my parents were. They grew up. That's where our family are. So shout out to Plainville. Funny story. I don't want to call him Cole, because it's not his real name. But Anthony Payne from Martin, he did a horror movie in my hometown. I think it was like the second movie or whatever movie it was. I didn't catch the names. I think I was away at school at the time, but for whatever reason, they ended up in Plainville, Louisiana. We only have one red light. Our grocery store is Piggly Wiggly.
Where you grew up is, their claim to fame is Cole from Martin. That one. Cole from Martin played in a horror movie, the second of the trilogy or sequel.
It was some horror movie. I'm gonna have to look. That's a fun fact that I'm gonna have to, post. We have a Facebook page called Plain Dylan Talk. So, on there, like there's been a lot of activity of people trying to connect and start businesses and stuff. So I'm really excited to see that, because that's basically what I've been trying to do here in Houston, learn and execute the things that I want to see that need to happen here, but also do that same thing back home. So I'm preparing for that. But yeah, it's I think you said dealing, but it's D, like you dealing cards.
Plain Dylan. Gonna be the fun fact. So if you're listening to this and you can find that horror movie that makes Plain Dylan popular, DM me on Instagram.
Yeah, find it out.
Yeah, at LRI Let's Talk. And if you get it right and you're the first person that DMs me, I'll send you one of my brand t-shirts, the Lorraine Finney. Actually, I'll send you the Let's Talk t-shirt. So, and I'll ship it worldwide. Fuck it. Like wherever you are, find the horror.
Find it out.
Find out the horror movie. So tell me about your family.
So I'm the only child behind my mom and my dad. From what I've been told, they were high school sweethearts, went through all of, what high school sweetheart type shit go through and everything. Early 20s or so, they got married. And and my mom raised me after they went their separate ways. And then I have two extra parents, my stepdad and my stepmom. Have a big family. I have two brothers and a sister on my mama's side, and I have two brothers and a sister on my daddy's side. So 6 siblings that I know of.
It's always there's always that of factor.
Right.
Those DNA tracers are a motherfucker, because people are like there's actually like hashtags and like groups on social media that talk about the shit people find out from these DNA testing. It's crazy, right? And so they both remarried. You have kids on both sides. You're with your mom and your stepdad. They don't have kids for 9 whole years. So there's an age gap there. A huge age gap. What is being a big sister look like to you?
It's fun because you're just like, yay, I have other people like me living in the house. I think I took on the caretaker role off the bat, just because like with my sister coming first, it's like, oh yeah, I used to comb her hair and play with her that way. And then with my brothers, it's like, wow, I have 2 brothers now. So my baby brother, he ended up being like my baby, because I think he was like maybe 6. I was 16, 17 when he was born. So that's a big gap too.
He could have technically been your kid. Yeah.
He could have been. Yeah.
That's a huge age gap.
Yeah.
Your mom's a beast, girl.
Right. So, but they're my sister and my brothers, and I make it a point to try to connect with them just because we have that age difference. Being a big sister for me is protective. I try to give them their space, but show them they should and shouldn't do. But yeah, that's what being a big sister with me on that side too. And then on the other side, I have an older brother. He's like in his early 40s, and then it's me, and then I have a sister and a brother.
So wait, where does the older brother come from?
So my daddy, I guess he had another relationship while he was in high school too. I don't know the timeline between him, my mama, and whatever, but
sometimes we're not meant to know, girl. That's not our business.
Right.
It's not our business.
All I know is I just know, but we have an age difference too. I mean, he's 13 or so years older than I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I grew up as, I would say, a true only child, but I still had those other step siblings and
the blended family.
The blended family.
That is for real a blended family, because that takes effort to bring and situate all those kids together, because technically though that's That's 4 different households of people that you're kind of bringing together with 2 stepsides, you, and then an older brother. So
Right.
I commend the adults in your life for, working and putting y'all in the same vicinity, even if it's just to know each other, because that's not always the case. It is not always the case.
And you know what? The cool thing about that is, like, many people saw it. Get this. So my dad and my stepdad worked together in the community for the kids, like with the sports. Just making sure they had an avenue to, express themselves through sports. People would look at like, dang, they both have something in common with being an ex-wife and a wife. But their common goal was, these kids need something to look forward to show their skills or whatever it may be. So I was really happy to see them work together that way.
You grew up with your mom and your stepdad, I'm assuming? And your dad married your stepmother, and there's kids on both sides. So you have a blended household is our, the new, our millennial way of saying it.
That's the word.
How does that look for you? What makes you quirky? What made you into who you are?
I think with being the only child, like, I had to entertain myself a lot. Because growing up with my mom and my stepdad, like, I was the only child in the house for 9 years. What made me who I am today, like, I would, take shit apart, just to see how it works. I ain't have nobody to play with. Even though I do have a stepsister who we started really appreciating each other's relationship, like, once we knew of each other. Growing up in the house by myself, I would just like to do random stuff, like sleep in my closet, or my mom and my stepdad, like, they would have a lot of different vehicles. We had this van that I was like, oh, I can really make that to my camp house. I wasn't really into tree houses.
That's what creatives do, girl. You gotta, like, I made everything into a fucking tent.
Yes. So I had the orange card out the window into the van. We had the TV set up, I even brought a few little teddy bears, but I love to sleep outdoors. I love to sleep in different places, but I love nature too. So I think that's what's quirky about me, is I love the outdoors.
Who's somebody that has inspired you in your life?
It depends on, like, at which level, because I've had so many people to inspire me.
But who's that embodying person that just inspires you all together?
That's a good one. I guess when it all boils down to maybe the essence of me and the things that I strive to be. I had a teacher in high school, my English teacher, Miss Green. She was tough. She was smart, funny. But she wanted to make sure that, no matter what, she was going to try to do the right thing. And that always inspired me, because, being amongst your peers, sometimes that can be kind of challenging, what I'm saying? From what I know about her story, like, she, went off, she grew up in Plainville and went off to school at Grambling, and then came back home to teach. And then, some people received her well because they were like, they could tell that she cared.
Right.
But then some people view her like, well, dang, why is she being so hard? And, some people couldn't meet the bar, but she, didn't necessarily lower her standards, but just tried to push. So I feel like that was inspiring to me, because that's how I am too. No matter what, I'm going to always strive for my goals, strive for the things that move me, strive for the things that I know can have the most impact, regardless of the outside noise.
Right.
So, Miss Green, shout out to Miss Green.
Shout out to Miss Green. And you know what? And shout out, you said Miss Demetria?
Her name is Anitra Green.
Anitra.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Anitra Green. Make sure you send her this episode, because it's important for our educators to know how much they impact us, even 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the road. And also, shout out to our HBCU system for
For
bringing
real.
somebody
For
into the
real.
world. I am a proud graduate of HBCU, Stillman College. What? But
Okay.
yeah. And so let's test this statistic. Oh, Black students who have one Black teacher before or during third grade are 13% more likely to go to college. Did you go to college?
I did go to college.
Miss Green, shout out again.
I did attend college for 3 years, and then because basically, okay, let me run this down. So, graduated in 2003. I went to ULM. At the time, I was interested in studying pharmacy because they made money at the time from my research. So I was like, okay, I can, I'm smart enough to. But then I was like, this is not really what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then all at the same time, I ended up changing schools, went to University Lafayette, was in the band there too. And then was studying nursing. So my mama's a nurse, my auntie's a nurse, my grandmothers were basically nurses, not with the official training. And, that's going back to, who I am. Like back in Plain Dillon, it was a place where slavery was heavy in the area. And it went from the school systems not being available to Black students, to the school system being like, okay, we're going to, have the separate school, the traditional thing. But even we had our school system that was blended and, for us, but we still didn't get all the education that we should have gotten.
Okay, so let's stop and talk about that really quick. When we're talking about segregation in Brown versus the Board of Education, we are not currently, but it is being fought for to add Black history, which is American history, into our taught histories in school because of simple things like this. A lot of people are just now realizing in this state of 2020, and some people still don't realize that just like when slaves were free, 2 to 5 years later, Texas slaves were free. That's why we celebrate Juneteenth. And with separate but equal, it's not how it went, especially in the South, especially in the Deep South, especially in small towns in the South, because, when slaves were freed, a lot of them stayed. Advancements were slower to the point where even when you go in the South now, it's this whole thing. So can you elaborate a little bit more on, the years you grew up in school and what that looked like, knowing what you know now?
I feel like during that time, we should have been, there were so many missed opportunities.
Okay.
I feel like looking back, had I had the same opportunities as other communities as far as education, advanced education, technology, just access to certain things, even to where I'm not going to say all teachers didn't care, but there were some teachers that, they were just there to get a check. They didn't really care about the outcome. Even with the guidance counselors, I feel like with me, I don't feel like I had the proper guidance to go to what fit me the most. It was just unfair how some schools in the same parish would have more opportunities to the different schools that are available, or scholarships, or prep, ACT prep, scholarship grants. I know a lot of people that were in a time frame where my grandma, who is my stepdad's mom, she was very instrumental in a big portion of the Black community who were educated at, what was Carrie Morton at the time, but they went to Grambling, they went to Southern. And you can see the effects of that. Those same students that went through school while they were there, they are business owners. They are, they were teachers themselves, lawyers. And not to say that the people who came after them are not experiencing that now. I just feel like the emphasis wasn't put on making sure that the Black people had opportunities that would make sure that they have a successful future, whatever that may look like. My senior year, I was able to be the first cadet commander of our own individual program. So really excited about that. That's how I learned discipline. And
Yeah.
I went to summer leadership camp on the Barstow Air Force Base, which yeah, I definitely felt transformed from that, like from the waking up early to the seminars, the classes, to the 3-minute showers. I'm like, wait, what? It was, yeah, they were getting in our shit like first day. Like, you got your bags right there and they're like trying to let you know who's in charge. And I'm like, okay, all right. Now, I'm chill anyway, but I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna play along as long as y'all don't try no stupid shit.
Yeah. So tell me the story of college. Why didn't you finish? Where'd you go? What happened?
So my first college experience took place at, and I'm gonna say the official name, University of Louisiana Monroe. At the time, they were Indians. I think they since changed the names. I think they're the work. I don't know. At the time, ULM Indians. I chose that school because of my best friend. I really didn't feel like, as again, guided into like what the college world would be like. My dad, he went to a four-year university. My mom, she went to college, but she ended up going to a technical college to get her nursing diploma, which that's basically what I did too. But went to that school, tried to fit in, it was still kind of new. It was Plaindale High School was predominantly Black. Going to ULM, it was all white. So that was kind of, I guess, a culture shock to me. And that's why looking back, I wish I had gone to HBCU, because I feel like just to have that extra support where you feel like people, they really care. They're going to make sure you have the resources that you need to succeed. I don't feel like I got that at the colleges that I went to. Went to ULM, tried to get on the dance line. They didn't holler back. I don't know why. I guess, whatever. And then...
Well, no, tell me, why do you think you didn't get on the dance line?
They already had their brown girls. So,
Past quota.
Right, past quota. That's probably it. Maybe I'm too short. I think they had already met their quota. I was a dancer because, I danced in high school and stuff. So, or it could have been, maybe I had a friend that had a mutual friend of one of the dance lines. So maybe that was why.
Okay, so we're going to give our polite answers that we're trained to give, which are it's who you know, but on the real, we assume that there was a quota met at a PWI. So what's something that you've failed at?
I failed at a lot. Let's see. Something I failed at. I failed at even pursuing, just going back to the HBCU. That's something that has stuck with me, not just HBCU, but even just finishing like a 4-year college. Mm-hmm. I feel like even though I'm a LVN, LPN, I'm a nurse, but...
You are listening to the Lorraine Infinity Let's Talk podcast. That's LRI Let's Talk on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
I don't have a bachelor's. Like, I feel like people, even though they know that I'm smart, they know that, I have good judgment with certain things, when they don't see a BSN behind my name, I'm looked at a certain way. So I feel like that's why I go extra hard to prove myself in certain areas, because I'm like, I don't have that behind my name. My 4-year university was life. Like, I had the real life experience just with learning how to do certain things, just researching, reaching out to mentors, reaching out to people who have similar interests. I failed to just finish what I started with the 4-year university. I want to, but life.
Well,
life.
You can always do it at any time if that's where the road leads you. I'm
a student. I don't want no loans and nothing like that.
Yeah. Once I finished my master's program, I was like, I'm done. I don't want any more degrees. I don't need any more degrees, nothing. And then as I'm saying that, I'm like, pause, like, you never know where God's going to take you.
That's true.
You never know if it's just one of those things that you're afforded a fellowship and they're going to pay for it and it goes with what you're studying, even with me in the co-work space. So I never know. So I keep my mouth shut about saying never, because
That's
every time I
true.
do that, God smiteth on me, and the will is his or hers or the
Right.
will. And
Right.
so it's interesting, but if it's something that you need, do it. If not, like you said, the University of Life is
Yeah.
one of the best universities, and a lot of people that have degrees that never do the University of Life miss out on a lot of common sense, and so they seem real dumb anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I look at it. Like, I went to, ULM University.
Yeah.
Then I went to UL Lafayette. Then I went to LSU S in Shreveport.
Okay.
And then the last school I went to was Votech at the time. I think the official name is like, Louisiana Tech in Minden. And that's why I ended up getting my nursing diploma. But I would beat myself up about, like I said, not finishing, but at the same time, I value all those relationships that I established at those different schools over those, 4 or 5 years, because that has allowed me to have, the reach that I have even now, just because I went to 4 or 5 different schools. So.
And the connectivity of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing about being an adult that you've noticed or that you're going through right now?
The hardest thing is, like, it's not just me. I have to think for other people, little people. I have little people. I have my husband. We are a team, so we all have our goals.
Where'd you meet your husband?
We met actually in Bossier City, Louisiana. This was after I moved from Lafayette. I worked at the casino at the Horseshoe. And this is when I was in nursing school. And it's funny because, like, I was like, I had a friend, Anika, and we worked at in telemarketing. And so she went to Southern, as well as my husband and her boyfriend, and they were coming to visit for the Christmas holidays. And she was like, yeah, I have this friend, my boyfriend's roommate. I think y'all be perfect. Like, I'm like, okay. So they were coming to visit, and they were going to stop by our job. And they came, and I was like, you know what? Go ahead and go downstairs. I don't want to meet them, And in my mind, I'm like, I still got attachments, and I'm in nursing school. Like, I'm not trying to meet nobody new, but she talked me into going downstairs with her, and we met. And it was like, oh, okay, he's handsome. Okay, he's kind of funny, and I knew he had the job. He was educated. So I was like, okay. But we didn't even really exchange information then. So, but a couple of months after that, she was visiting them. They were living in Virginia. It's like, well, how's your friend doing? And she say, oh, he's doing good. And she's going about the conversation, and she was like, hold on, okay. And I was like, okay, not thinking nothing about it. Next thing you know, he's like, hello. And I'm like, hey.
Girl, I'm doing my happy dance. Yes, this is friends' jobs. Friends are supposed to.
She hooked me up. And she actually has you know what? I need to introduce you to Anika, because she has a good track record. Like, she, at the time when she introduced us, she had already successfully hooked up 2 couples that were married.
You said Anika?
Yes, she went. Yeah, my friend Anika Bell.
Anika Bell.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sassy, but sexy, savage, cool. Miss Anika Bell, please holla at your girl and hook her up. Anyways, that's not even for it. That's not even gonna make it in.
No, she's good for it. But yeah, she hooked us up. We just celebrated 11 this past year, so we're probably close. No, we're closer to 11 as well. It'll be 12 years, 2021. There you go.
Okay. In 20 years, will we talk about 2020?
Man, I can't wait. I look forward to looking back on 2020, but like, child, let me tell you what because
it's going to be epic.
Yeah, it's going to be epic. I think there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of different stories, a lot of different, just life-changing things that people are going to reflect back on.
What do you tell your kids about 2020, what you were doing, how you were moving, in regards to Black Lives Matter, in regards to women in our movement in regard to coronavirus, in regards to the election, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you talk to your kids about it?
I would be curious to know how he perceives how we are handling all the changes, being adaptable, because we have asked them to be adaptable in their learning, in their social circles. So that would be one of the things that I would like to see, or hear what he perceived, how we adapted to all the changes. When things start shutting down, we were in a process of doing his GT project, which he didn't even get a chance to do his presentation. We stayed up late, he did his board. I think they were doing the biomes. And he, came up with a new animal. I think it was like a jaguar eagle something, which was really cool. But it was actually talking about recreating an animal who has to adapt to a new environment.
Whoa.
Right. So, he did his studies on 3 different animals and merged them. He combined a jaguar, electric eel, and an eagle. And so he said he liked the eagle because of the vision. He liked the eel because of its ability to protect itself. Mm-hmm. And then the jaguar, I think it was because it can swim and it was fast as well. Because my son, he loves to run, so he loves speed. But I feel like that kind of prepped his mindset for this, because he was already on that level thinking about ways to be adaptable, ways that a living being has to be adaptable to situations.
Right. In 365 days from today, what do you think we're doing, girl? And I guess let's just do world, United States, Texas, Houston, like boo, 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 boo.
Oh, let's see. I think the world is probably like, we made it. We here. I think Texas, Houston, I feel like, hopefully with coronavirus and with the election, hopefully we are in a place where we can better depend on each other, support each other, just learn creative ways to survive, So I think that a year from now, we would have seen what we're made of, and hopefully on a better ground of foundation to be like, okay, I survived 2020.
Do you have a question or comment for one of our guests? Hit me up at LRI Let's Talk on Instagram or Facebook.
I can do whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. Like 2020 has definitely been another one of those years. Unfortunately, too many back to back for me personally. But like, it's like, okay, I survived this. I can do anything.
Okay. That's true. That is true. And I think that even personally, like, I know that there have been a lot of times I just want to just get away from it all. I just want to not give up on life, but just, just break away from it. But when I push myself, even when I'm tired, and then I get the results that I want, I'm like, okay, I can do anything, regardless of how I feel, regardless of what's going on, you just persevere, you can get there. Yeah, that's a good point. You persevere, you push through, and you can eventually get there. Tell me about your kids really quick. Tell me which one, has been the most difficult pregnancy, and where you're at right now. So my most difficult pregnancy was my daughter. I was on bed rest with her probably until month 5. And then she challenges me even today, but even still, like, I appreciate it because she allows me to see myself, and I love those relationships because, you can be stuck in yourself sometimes, but when you see something that's familiar, like, okay, you can appreciate, adapt, learn, and all that stuff. But she challenges me, and she came here, that was her whole theme from the get-go, as they say.
How old are your kids?
My oldest son, we call him 2. He's 8. My daughter, she's 3, almost 4 in November. She's a Scorpio Sag, and that's another thing. And then my baby, he's my Leo baby, my little protector, Carlin Wayne. He's, I guess you said about 14 months. He's 1 year old.
Okay. So 2 is the oldest, and 2 refers to being the number 2 to the father, number 1, your husband. Okay. So boy, girl, boy.
Mm-hmm.
And the youngest is about 14 months, and you're breastfeeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did all your babies latch on? Did you
They
breastfeed all of them?
I breastfed all of them. All of them had latch. Well, my baby boy, he didn't really have as much latching on issues as the first two. The first two had tongue tie, so that causes them to not latch on properly. With my daughter, oh my God, girl, if I wasn't so committed with breastfeeding, I would have stopped. Like, she literally sucked the skin off my nipple. Like,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
like raw. I was bleeding. Like, even when she had a bowel movement, you can see how much blood. And I'm just like, but I was committed. I didn't want to stop. I was
Yeah.
pumping. I used the nurse, the shields. I was determined, because I know the benefits of it. We had that. That was probably the most traumatic experience with
Did you
her.
use like nipple cream and stuff?
A little bit. I used the creams they gave me, and then I used coconut oil.
Yeah, coconut oil is the bomb. Is there something from your past that you've gone through or witnessed that you really don't like to talk about?
Yeah.
What is it?
I'll just say there was something that it was a life-changing decision that I had to make. I chose me. I chose me. So, and really that's the theme of all of stuff that has happened. I've always just tried to choose myself. Yeah.
What spaces would you ever talk about your experience in? Who do you share it with? Who will it help?
I think it would help women.
Mm-hmm.
It will help families.
Okay.
It will help the Black community.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on that, or you want to move on?
Let's move on for now, but we can definitely circle back in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a sexually enlightened person?
Define sexually enlightened.
You define sexually enlightened.
I would define sexually enlightened as being in tune with what arouses, I guess what works.
Right.
So I guess I would think that I'm sexually enlightened. I feel like at the core of me, I'm a good communicator. Especially when I'm not nervous. But I feel like my ability to connect, makes me sexually enlightened.
Yeah, like I consider myself a sexual person. And like, so when you're talking about sexually enlightened, like you said, like where does that go? Is this, does sexually enlightened mean I'll talk about sex and I don't consider in the realm of, what men like to coin as freaky or whatever?
Yeah.
Or is this my self-described freak of a self, without being labeled by other people? Like, what does that look like? Is this like some S&M type shit?
I remember the time, like each of those times when I first was like, oh, wait, I can make myself feel that way.
Right. Oh. Like you're like bing bing, like buttons. It's like Palinko or something, like I'm like, oh my God.
Right. And then the whole squirting thing, like I was like, that scared me. Like, whatever is going on. But yeah, it's fun to explore and learn those things about yourself.
I think it's one of the most like freeing things, especially when you don't get like shamed or criminalized about it. Like,
yeah.
But just when you learn and you find out all of that kind of stuff. And I definitely found a voice in my sexuality, which was like big for me, and it was an accomplishment to be unapologetic about it.
Hmm.
But outside of sexuality and sex and ownership and being enlightened, what's one of the biggest accomplishments you've had in your life so far?
I mean, I would think even just being a mother, you know, because I've always admired my mama, you know, but I feel like it's an accomplishment for me because I always wanted to have my mom and my daddy in the same household, you know. So being able to say, I'm married to my husband and we got 3 kids, everybody the same daddy and mama, you know. To me, that's an accomplishment, you know, because I mean, I know it may be common, but sometimes it may not be.
It is
You
not
know,
common, actually.
and I mean, I'm a product of that, so you know, I feel accomplished to be able to give that to my children.
It's an accomplishment across every diaspora and demographic you can think of. It is a huge accomplishment that you're married, that you have 3 children that are healthy, and you refer to your husband as your partner. So y'all obviously have like a cohesive working relationship. What's been the most challenging thing about being married and getting married and staying in a relationship for as long as you have?
I think staying true, you know, staying true to yourself, but staying true to the commitment, you know. Being young and being Black and being I came from a blended family. My husband didn't come from a blended family, you know, so we have different ideas about whether it may be discipline, whether it may be the way certain things are done, just simply because, you know, the different types of households that we came from. So,
Right.
yeah, that's
So writing a rule book together is
yeah,
a challenge.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What's something that overwhelms you?
Something that overwhelms me is I guess the state of all the shit that's going on right now. I'm very sensitive to the energy of everything, and just with the way the I guess people are treating Black people right now, like I can really sense just this unrest, you know. And so that overwhelms me because I'm like, okay, on my level, what can I do to help balance that? How can I shine light even just a little bit to counteract that? Because there are a lot of upset, angry people in the world. That overwhelms me.
How are you taking care of yourself right now?
Music is very important. So that's, you know, music helps me think.
Top 3 songs that you go to.
I love, it's not like songs, so I'll do genres. So
okay, go for Johnny. Go.
So something that makes you dance, whether it's hip hop, whether it's reggae, something that makes you dance. I love jazz. Jazz helps me to be calm and to think, even just to relax. And then I love salsa. I love I like to dance, but I love, you know, trap music too. I love to pop my booty. Yeah, I love to pop my booty.
have you heard of Kenny G?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. My dad loved Kenny G, and so in return, I love Kenny G. And then I love reggae music. Clearly, you heard me listen to it while we were prepping. What's something that you like about yourself?
I like that. That's a good question. What do I like about myself? I like that I'm passionate. I love my hair. That's been a journey for me, you know. Growing up,
her hair is locked, y'all.
I went through. I've had a jerry curl. I've had the press. I've had the box braids, dookie braids, all those things. but I love my locks. I feel like that once I decided to lock my hair, that's really when I was like, okay, I can really see and appreciate the beauty of me just because of the texture. Because, I mean, growing up, people really put an emphasis on, the grays of hair and, the long hair and all that stuff. And so that was a thing, it definitely, hair was, a self-esteem, issue that I had. That's why I feel so, I guess, calm and at peace with myself now as it relates to how I look, because my hair makes me feel beautiful.
What's something you wish you liked about yourself?
I wish I liked, I've been embracing, I guess, what people call a free spirit, I just try to stay true to myself. And over the years, people have, labeled it as, oh, you're such a free spirit. I'm like, appreciate that more instead of just appreciating it when, like, I'm really critical about the time that I spend doing certain things, so just being more forgiving and understanding to my grind.
Yeah, one of the best things that a friend told me, and it was if I was in this podcast, my most pivotal moment in life was when my dad passed, right? So and it's weird because I would say I was 32 when I had my first daddy issues, which is so weird. So it's like this reverse effect. But I was being so hard on myself in that year. Like I remember I had my art show. I had the Birthright art show that I told you about. I had an entire art show. I painted an entire art series. I did an entire website launch and everything else. And I remember at some point my friend was like, you need to remember to be kind to yourself. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh shit, like maybe I'm not being kind to myself. Like I afford people the grace that I'm not affording myself. So
that's true. That's true. And that's very true. I try to remind myself that more, just to be like, okay, it's not that bad that you didn't finish school and you have to teach yourself or learn the hard way or whatever. You have pure intentions, but yeah, that's definitely true, just to be more accepting of oneself.
Yeah. And standing in that moment and realizing how dope you are, what are you working on that is your passion or your project? Like something for you. What are you working on for you?
For me, I think I'm slowly working towards, I need to really sit down and think about that more. Because I have so many, I have my hands in so many different things right now. And I guess it's difficult for me to say, okay, well, what am I working on for me? I will say, okay, I got it. Recently, I was gifted a house that belonged to my grandmother and some of my mom's sisters. My mom ended up buying it from one of her sisters. So recently got the house, and I feel like that's going to be, I won't say a safe haven, but yeah, a safe haven, but just a place where I can build on, be creative, and it's like, this is my shit. I can do whatever it is that I want to do, and that comes in the form of edutainment. I understand that a lot of people find learning new things or just studying boring, at least where I come from and the people that I know. They may not see or value just, learning a lot of different things. I'm looking forward to creating the brand of Kenisha's Edutainment, how I see it, how I feel like I learn, and just share that with other people too. So I'm creating that space there to be just that. I don't have it all figured out just yet, but I do know that that's my space. That's my little corner, Ken's corner. So
I love it. I can't wait to see that project and what comes about it, because you have some entrepreneurial shit going on. So I'm really excited about that. What's something that you learned too late that you wish you would have learned at another time?
Let that shit go. No, I put it like this. I feel like I learned too late to put yourself first and be unapologetic about it. Something that you said earlier today stuck out to me, and like you saying, giving yourself permission, to do certain things. Like even though you're capable, you're this or that, just giving yourself permission to just do it.
How do you see yourself, and how do you think people see you?
I see myself as a country. I see myself as a country girl living in this big Houston city. But as a sunflower, I feel like other people, and you know what? And that's something that I'm working with too. I feel like sometimes other people, maybe it's just me, but I don't know if people really just see me as genuine or see me as giving or loving, but those are all the things that I want to do and I try to do with all the people that I'm connected with. So, I feel like sometimes people may not, I feel misunderstood just because people don't take the time to just ask a question or, just get to know me.
Tell me who you are.
I am funny. I am I'm a positive person, I am innovative. I am about that life, whatever that may be. I'm about whatever it is that's gonna push me to get results, to see the things. I love life. I love growth. I love nature. So
that's who you are. And we're going to learn more about your careers and your side hustles and the journey that you're doing with the work that you're doing here in Houston and in the community during our live. Is there anything that you want to share or wrap up this podcast with? The floor is yours.
I just want to say thank y'all for listening in. I love that I've had an opportunity to be myself, and that means being goofy, being anxious, being whatever. So saying all that to say, be yourself, unapologetically, be yourself, and always set goals, always seek love, seek light, connect with people. Don't be afraid to let people in.
I love it. Well, Kenisha, it has been so fun having you on the podcast. This is great. I can't wait to see how you move. I can't wait to talk to you on Tuesday. Thank you to everybody that has been listening. If you have any questions, DM me, DM Kenisha. You're going to hear more about her work and what she's doing in the community. And as always, tell your story, be your own brand, live your truth, and stand in your moment.
All right, y'all. My name is Kenisha. I'm 35 years old. I hope that y'all enjoyed tonight's podcast. You've just listened to my story as I live my truth, stand in my moment on the Lorraine Infinity Let's Talk Podcast Season 2.
Yes. Bing, 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 bing. I love it. Beep. A little cheers. Cheers. Before we get started to our rum drinks.
Right.
Okay.
I wish I had some brown. Shit. But
it's fine. It's all good. I do not bleep out cuss words because then I'd be like, I'd go for broke. It'd be like, beep.
But listen, I love cuss words. They make me feel good. So
okay, yeah. Let's see how many you can fit into this game.
No. Okay, let's see.
You ready? Let's talk.
Okay, let's see. Go ahead.
Let's talk fast. Beep.
My story on the Lorraine Infinity Let's Talk. Let me start over.
You got it.
Okay. All right, y'all. My name is Kenisha. I'm 35 years old, and I hope y'all have enjoyed listening to me share my story. I hope you've been inspired.
PTPTPTP.
Okay, let's start this again. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. My name is Kenisha. I'm 35 years old. I hope y'all enjoy. You know,
Okay. Last time. Okay.
you know what?
Here we go.
Okay. That's why, and that's why I'm so happy that we connected because, I think being able to laugh at myself and being able to share that with you is it's encouraging and it's inspiring to me. So again, y'all, I'm Kenisha. All right, y'all. My name is Kenisha. I'm 35 years old. I hope y'all enjoy our time here. Hope y'all enjoy listening to me tell my story and learning a little bit more about me. You've just listened to my story on Let's talk.